I know you wrote an article for Browns Wire. Browns with the most to prove in 2023. Take us through who you think falls into that category.
Yeah, I think where I want to start is like I think there's a difference between most to prove and make or break. Like I added Jerome Ford on the list, who has a lot to prove this year, but is definitely far from a make or break season. Like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah has a lot to prove this year. I don't think this is his last year. Like this is his last year to prove something. But guys who are into this year with expectations on their shoulders or some sort of placement that gives them a lot to prove, and you got to start the list with I think Jedrick Wills. Entering his fourth season with the team. The team picks up his fifth-year option. Hasn't lived up to the hype as the 10th overall pick. I don't think he's as bad as people tend to say he is, but he's definitely inconsistent at best. I see the flashes, the dominant foot speed. He's pretty good with his hands when he's locked in, but there are just those lapses and big lapses at that, I would say, that can go games at a time. So that's definitely something that needs cleaned up. It looks like the Browns are going to see it through with him all the way through. And again, $14 million for that fifth year puts him at about like the 22nd most like highest paid tackle. So I think the funds are appropriate to where his plays kind of valued him, but I think this is the year to prove, like, yeah, it's either now or never in terms of long-term extension with the Browns. Perrion Winfrey, that one's pretty self-explanatory, and he's probably got a shorter shelf life to prove it. He's not a roster lock, so he's got to do it more immediately. He's got to prove it more immediately. Greg Newsome, again, played really well as a rookie. Really well as a rookie outside. Not so much like when he was asked to play in the slot almost exclusively last year. But again, he kind of advocated for himself. He fought for himself, and he's kind of put himself back in a position to play where his strengths kind of cater to it. So he's got to step up. Elijah Moore, change of scenery, high expectations coming out of the draft, a top 40 pick for the Jets. He's going to have the opportunity to see the field a lot with the Browns. Again, you could argue Donovan Peoples-Jones is the wide receiver 2 in this offense. I think I'd argue that Elijah Moore has more nuance to his game and the ability to do more in this offense. And I'd probably say he's your next guy behind Amari Cooper. So that's a lot to live up to. If he can give you 700, 800 yards in this year with the Browns, I think that's expectations met. Again, we talked about Jerome Ford a little bit. Excuse me. Cade York. His leash isn't going to be as long as it was a year ago. He was a fourth-round rookie. It's going to give him a longer leash than it will in year 2. If he doesn't figure it out in year 2, he could be gone after a 2-week span if it's a 2-week stretch of really bad kicking. So kickers, they get recycled a lot. And then, obviously, the big one's Deshaun Watson. This team on paper is ready to make a run at a Super Bowl. This team on paper has depth at key positions, and this team on paper has a guy who's seen stretches of elite quarterback play. But now it's time to do it on the field. And again, this team goes as far as he takes them. So they could have a dominant run game. They could have a dominant defense. They could have a dominant, secondary against the pass. But if they get how the quarterback play they got the last 6 weeks, they're going to go 9-8, 8-9. Lucky to go 10-7. So this team's going to go where that quarterback takes them.
Yeah, and that's usually the case with in the NFL. You need good quarterback play to get from okay to a playoff or elite team.